Alright, I'm gonna have 3 recipes that I like to use. For breakfast, I have banana blueberry muffins, and for lunch, I have a garlic butter shrimp salad, and for dinner, I have a Italian sausage and pepper and onion dish. They're all really good, and my family eats it up. So we'll just get right to it. So we're starting off with the blueberry banana muffins. So I have 12 ounces of bananas here that I'm mashing up really well with my mixer. Then I'm adding in 3 ounces of oats. I'm going to put them in my food processor first and kind of blitz those just a little bit. I don't want to make a flour. I'm just making it so that those oats will soak up in that banana mixture a little bit faster. I'm going to mix those in really good. Then I'm going to add in 3 eggs, and that will cover half of the protein that I want to put in these. I'm going to put in 3 tablespoons of cinnamon. The recipe called for 3 heaping tablespoons, but I thought that was too much. I think just 2 tablespoons would probably cover it. I like cinnamon, so that just wasn't a problem for me. Then I can put in a teaspoon of baking powder, just to make these a little bit fluffier, and then a teaspoon of salt to bring out some of that sweetness. And then I'm going to put in a teaspoon of vanilla, and I'm going to let that splash over because I really like vanilla. I'm going to give that a good mix until it's all incorporated really well. I love using this mixer a lot better than using a fork to mash anything. And I unplugged it because I have a fear of tangling up my hair or my fingers inside the beaters. Hopefully that never happens. So I'm getting out some blueberries at my scale. I'm going to weigh out 6 ounces of blueberries. So I'm going to start off with 4 to put into the batter, and then I'm going to hold back 2 ounces to put on top of the muffins. Super good. You could probably put apples in there. Apples would be really good, actually. Apple cinnamon muffins, if you don't like blueberries. So I'm gonna mix these in really well. And then I have some silicone liners in my muffin pan there. So I'm gonna spray them down with some Pam or some non-stick spray. And I had to get a paper liner because I'm missing one of my silicone liners. The silicone liners don't really stick at all, but I like the spraying for just in case. I sprayed my paper one, but it really didn't matter. It stuck really bad. So I highly recommend the silicone because these muffins will slip right out. And so go ahead and fill the liners almost up to the top because you don't have to worry about these overflowing, kind of like a cupcake would, because these are not going to rise that much. They're still really fluffy, but you're not going to see a lot of movement. So I'm just going to go back and fill up the little ones that I didn't quite fill all the way. And I actually forgot to put the peanut butter in here. So if you're making this recipe, go ahead and add the 3 ounces of peanut butter before you get to this stage. I just put a little bit of peanut butter on top when I was ready to eat them. And then I'm going ahead and using up those last couple of ounces of blueberries, just putting them right on the top, just to make them a little bit prettier. And so you get a nice taste of blueberry right off the bat. You could just put it in the batter and just let them all bake like that. That'd be fine too. And then I'm putting them in the oven at 350 for about 15 minutes. I check my muffins by kind of opening it, shaking it, see if they shake. Turned out really fluffy and yummy. Loved it. Some peanut butter on there. Turned out super good. So we're going to be doing the salad with garlic shrimp. So I'm going to cut up these little peppers. They're on sale at Sam's. And so I bought a couple bags of these instead of actual bell peppers, which I might regret later, since it means a lot of extra cutting, and they're tiny, so it takes a lot of cutting to get the same amount of pepper as you would off of a big bell pepper. But you can't beat a red pepper. Those are so yummy. Then cut these up nice and small, just so it's easier to take a bite of the salad. And then I'm going to add some lettuce to my salad bowl. I told myself not to do this, but I put my bowl off screen. So I'm just going to add these to the bowl that is right off the side. I'm adding some peas and some corn. And then a little bit more lettuce just to equal out the ounces that I have on there. And so I'm getting out my shrimp that I've had thawed and drying in these paper towels. Melting my butter off to the side. Adding some paprika. And some salt. I should have added a little bit more salt. That's easy to correct. A little bit of pepper. And then a little bit of cayenne pepper. I'm kind of a baby, so I just put a little bit on there. And then I'm going to add some garlic to the butter. Almost messed up there. Gonna let that warm up. And then mix the shrimp really well. And then I'll put it in to the butter to let it cook. And they need about 2 minutes per side. I ordered raw shrimp off of Walmart, but they gave me this and it said raw on the bag, but they're already kind of pink. So they look kind of cooked already to me. Of course, I'm not just going to eat them like that. I'm going to go ahead and cook it even though it looks cooked, but it said raw. I'm just going to trust that it really is raw. You're supposed to cook them for about 2 minutes a piece. It's kind of watching these. I do not cook shrimp very often, so it felt kind of weird. I wasn't sure what to really look for. I know you don't want them super tightly curled, but I also don't want to eat raw shrimp. So I'm flipping them over, making sure they're all getting cooked on both sides. I think some red pepper flakes would have been really good on this. Give it a little bit of spice. And so it's almost been 2 minutes. This video is a little sped up. So I just need to add a little bit of lemon juice. I'm putting some salsa verde on my salad. Just give it a little bit more wetness because I'm using all the fat that I have available for this meal in with the butter in the shrimp. So I'm just making sure those are nice and cooked. And then I'm going to put a little splash of lemon on there. And then a little bit on my salad. I was a little bit hesitant with the lemon because I didn't want to overdo it. But I could have added a little bit more and it would have been good. So I'm going to add 4 ounces of shrimp here. Kind of watching my scale. And there we go. Give it a little mix. Get it all incorporated. And add a little parsley. It was really good. Mix it up nice and good. And for our last recipe, we have some Italian sausage with peppers and onions. So I'm putting the sausage into my pan with a little bit of water. Separate the sausage a little bit so they can cook well through. I'll put the lid on. The big pan that I have doesn't have a lid that matches, and so I'm gonna use this one. Cutting up my bell pepper first, just kind of separating all the pieces and getting all the little things inside out. I don't think you really need to do that. I just personal preference. Then I'm gonna add a red onion. My kids have already peeled for me, and then I'm gonna put in a yellow onion. And then I have some mushrooms that were on their way out, so I'm gonna chop those up really good. If you don't like mushrooms, don't put them in. I personally like them. I think they're good. So I'm just kind of mincing them up kind of small. But I think they take on the flavor of whatever they're in really well. You don't really notice them. I don't like to eat them raw. You can check on these sausages, flip them over a little bit. Definitely don't want to be eating a raw sausage, especially if you compare that to raw shrimp. I would be a lot more scared to eat a raw sausage. So getting some nice color on there, flipping it over. These are super hard to flip over. Just don't want to do it. So it took me so long. So checking the temperature real quick. They're not quite there. At least this one isn't. Check the back one. And you can't see the number because the camera decided to focus on my arm. But it had gotten up to 165. So I'm going to add all the peppers and the onions and a little bit of water just to help those onions to cook a little faster. And then I'll add in those mushrooms and then stir it in really good. Pretty easy recipe. It's hard to mess up. I'm gonna put a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and cover it up and let the steam do all the work. Add a little bit of garlic. I'm gonna stir up here in just a second. Stir it all in nice and good. Get all that garlic stirred around. But everything's looking really good so far. So a little bit of time has passed. You can kind of see all those juices forming. That's from the mushrooms. So I'm gonna make sure everything's getting a chance to be on the bottom. That's looking good. Getting some good color. I love that. All nice and caramelized there. So here it is all plated up. I put an ounce of cheese on top of the onions while it was still warm. And so super good. I love me some cheese. Well, thanks for watching. Those are some of my favorite recipes. If you want to find more recipes like this, give me a like and subscribe. I'll be posting more as we go on. See you next time. Bye.